Hi, and welcome to this video on Gantt by Profitbase version 3.1. Today I will demonstrate some of the new features, and if you want to read more about these features and read more detailed documentation on them, you can go to our GitHub release that I will link in the description. And as you see, we have quite a lot of new features, and most importantly, we have a lot of bug fixes that should make the user experience much better. And what a lot of users have been requesting is that the scroll behavior, when you scroll in the visual, they want this to be improved, and this has been significantly improved, and I think it looks a lot better and feels a lot nicer. So we're really excited to include that in this release as well. If you go to our product site on Microsoft Marketplace, you can read more about our visual. You can download it for free, and something that can be interesting is to download this sample, which will give you a sample PBIX file, which is the same that I use in the demos in this video. So without further ado, let's jump into the demo. The first thing I will demonstrate here is a change we've made to the conditional formatting settings. So if I go into edit mode, then conditional formatting, then I can add a new rule here. And if we see in the manager field here, we can expand this a bit. You see that you have a grouping on the top, getting started, website content, etc. And then the next level is this category column, test, design, dev, etc. Then we have the tasks at the lowest level on the third level. And what we want to do is, if this category has multiple values in the manager field, that you have a category with more than one manager, we want to color this in a red color, just so the project manager can look more into it. So let's call this multiple values warning. Previously you only had this parent, child and both option here on the hierarchy level. So we can test that first with the parent. We can say we want to color the data grid. And we select the manager. We want to color the background. So let's say when manager is multiple values, let's copy that. Then it should be red. As you see, it works fine. This top levels are colored, but since we want this only the second level to be colored red, it won't work. So we could try with the child. Then none of the childs here have this. So there was no way that you could do this on a specific level of the hierarchy. So now we have added this custom option on the hierarchy level. And if I click that, I can select specifically which level I want this to be applied to. So let's say that I want a category. Then I select that, and you can select multiple levels here if you have a large hierarchy. And if I click save, then you see that test, and yeah, this is also called test, but it's under a different grouping, is colored red. So then it's really easy to know that these categories have several different managers. So this is just one example on how you can use this feature. The next feature I will show is how you can expand or collapse rows based on a condition. And the example we'll use is the exact same as we used in the previous demonstration. And if I go down here to chart options, let's see, where's that? Here. Then you see that we have this default expand rows. So we have expanded this to the third level. So level 0, then it will show the top level only by default. Then level 1, it will show the next level as well, and then we want to go all the way down to the third level of the hierarchy. But maybe in some cases you want it to be showing all the rows in the hierarchy except some specific categories. So let's say that we would like this website content and website config. We would like these to be collapsed, but the rest should be expanded by default. So if I do this now and then switch the tabs, you see that it will expand the rows. So how you can solve this is to go back into edit mode, and then you see this new menu we have here, expand/collapse rows. And if I click here on the plus sign, we can add a new rule, and let's call this collapse website. Then we want to collapse based on the condition. So if I select grouping here, and then since we want it, if it contains website, it should be collapsed, we have to use this contains. And then I want all the rows in the grouping level, in the first level of the hierarchy that contains website, they should be collapsed. So if I click save now, you see that these are collapsed, and I can go back into the report. And then if I go back and forth between the pages, you see that it's still collapsed. And if I do some changes here, and then I leave the report and come back, you see that the default will always be that these are collapsed. So if you are working with events, like we have here, we have a release date event. Until now, this event marker had to be horizontal. Now, in the version 3.1, you can change the text angle here to whatever you want. Let's do 45 degrees. You see that now this will be tilted slightly upwards, 45 degrees. So when you enter the report with a Gantt by Profitbase visual, the default position or the default scroll position would always be today, and that you can see in this focus time menu. And you can also change this to a custom date or a dynamic date before or after today. But a new functionality that we have added in version 3.1 is to set the scroll position to start of the chart. When I select that, then you see that it will be centered around, or it will set the scroll position to the beginning of the Gantt visual or the timeline bars here. So that could be useful if you have some project that is finished, for instance, or if you would like the scroll position to not be dynamic as it would be with the today line. It would move every day, it would move forward one day. When we calculate the duration of a task in the Gantt visual, by default we don't include the end date in the calculation. So if we, for instance, see on this 1.2 extensive testing of features, we see that the duration here is 90 days, so it does not include the 24th of September 2025, which is the end date. And that would make sense if we are not expecting to do any work on this day, that it needs to be finished before this date. But if we want to include this in the calculation, then we can now go into the duration menu in the format pane, and then enable this include last day button. So if I click this and then go back here, you see that now the duration is 91 days, so it added 1 day to the duration calculation. The last feature I want to show you is really nice for those of you who have really large datasets and are using edit mode frequently. And when you're working in edit mode and you have a lot of rows in the Gantt visual, it can take some time every time you're doing a change and you want just to do some quick changes. And to speed up this, you can go into the format pane, into edit mode options, and then limit rows count. And then let's say I just want to load one root row, so that would be for the top level. And then you can also change where you want it to start from. We will not do it in this case. And then everything will look as normal for the end user. But if I go into edit mode now, you see that now I only see the top level here getting started. I don't see the other groupings. So if I want to do some conditional formatting or other things in edit mode, then it will be much quicker to work with, because it doesn't have to apply it for all the rows every time you do some changes. Then when you're done, you can just go back to report and everything will be as before. That was all the new features for version 3.1. Since you made it to the end of the video, you might be interested in learning more about our Gantt visual. The best way to do that is to head into our GitHub repo. Here you can read more about the visual, and you can also go into our wiki that has extensive documentation on all the feature. You can also go into our issues tab to report any issues you have with the visual, or you can start a discussion in the discussions tab here if you would like to discuss something or you have an improvement proposal. We are happy to hear from you if you have bugs or if you have new features you'd like, and we'll try to respond as quickly as possible. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you like this video and subscribe to the channel. That will help the algorithm. Thanks for watching.